Hey everyone, this is the second sketchbook showcase, sort of flip through that I'm doing. This is the second sketchbook that I started, and I think it's about 1 or 2 years ago. I did these drawings. In the previous video, I did the first sketchbook. Just kind of flipping through. Yeah, here I was experimenting with fountain pen ink and still doing a lot of like the red and black together. And I used I used water on the red ink to sort of get like a flesh pink. Kind of just seeing how far I could push the the ink and see what I could do with it. More space stuff. This drawing actually took a long time. It was mostly just rendering this water creature. There's a bunch of divers and they're going underwater. And this is supposed to be like Atlantis or something. And there's like I don't know what these are, some sort of tanks, and there's the like a water craft. Yeah, not really sure like too much of the story, like some sort of like infection or whatever that was killing the divers and these creatures, sort of like a mutation. And then he's saved his teddy bear. This is like a sort of sport thing that I made up, where they have to go on rollerblades across these sort of like I don't know what they're called, but like I know like the airbenders in Avatar, they have these in like their temple, and they practice like airbending. So I started thinking of like that, and then he's on rollerblades, and there's this ball that they have to get into the net, and they'll have like jerseys on, and he almost fell. The camera up there recording. I remember I tried to get the view of that the camera was shooting onto the screen, the angle, which is kind of funny. The stadium took a while to draw like all the tiny parts. I tried to get all the stairs like as accurate as I could. This was more fountain pen and sort of seeing what I could do with the ink. It's kind of they're in like a gas station, and this is like the cook in the back. A construction guy on his iPad, and now they have robots running the place. Not really sure what this dude's doing. It's kind of like a cool pose. More of the pen with fountain pen ink in it. And I had wait, this might have been with brush. Yeah, this was with a brush with fountain pen ink in it. The same red. I think it's Ox Blood ink is the color of it. Some zombies in a cemetery. I actually like this house. It looks pretty good. Like a Grim Reaper. Here I was practicing, or like sort of experimenting with adding the red from here, and then using black ink and sort of like a spot coloring with the red onto its frog. Some other characters, zombies. I remember I was pretty proud of drawing a character using a bow. And he's also flying on something, which is sort of struggled drawing that. This is using the red ink again as like a skin tone. Have some mechs and robots back there. This was sort of like a 3-part piece. Well, I guess 4. In this scene, there was like mechs flying in the sky. There's like a skyscraper. And yeah, one shooting missiles in the back. I like that pose actually. And then yeah, so it cuts off like right here. So this is all one scene. And then this is another scene. I don't know, some like chem lab suit, like zombie apocalypse. And then zombies. Kind of playing around with perspective. I remember this one I drew in a car. And yeah, these were supposed to be like sort of like gangsters or mobsters. But 2 of them are like dogs, and then this dude's like the boss. I was messing around with like how far I could render with the gray and ink, and then try to get to focus. It's a little blurry, but yeah, he was he ended up too dark with his tone, so I took like a white gel pen and went over. It kind of turned out pretty cool. Makes him look pretty 3-dimensional. Here's some samurais. And yeah, trying to draw a building behind. I sort of messed up this building. I think a dragon that stretches across too. I tried drawing a tank back here too, but it's like so it got a little bit too clustered in the back. There's a cat, a tiger down here. I remember this was the first one that I used red on ties, and that's like a thing I do pretty often for spot coloring since it splits up characters. This was just white and black. I was gonna go back through here and shade it, but I never got back around to it. So yeah, just a bunch of characters. With a bunch of samurai armor, and they're all cyclopses. And then at this time, I was kind of like learning how to put like a gun in the hands of the character. Was the is the first attempt, and the perspective is pretty little too foreshortened. But yeah, just a random is a cyclops with a house on his head. This is kind of cool. I had like this small elf inside of coming out of a mech. More like Japanese style. Oh yeah, this is like some beast. More just like fill in the page with a bunch of characters. Sort of hard to see, I think, from here. The glare on the page doesn't really help too much either. But yeah, just a bunch of characters. This is sort of what I was doing at the time, is just like drawing and filling the page with just like any idea I could come up with. This was another drawing all the way around. But just the lights and see if I can get rid of some of the glare. Alright, hopefully that's better. Yeah, so there's zombies, and it sort of like wraps around. Well, I started this way, so I'll just go from there. Yeah, so there's like a pig back here. He's sitting on a beanbag chair, and then it just wraps around. Just a bunch of different characters doing different things. And then I sort of like bent the perspective, and then it comes around. a bunch of characters, and then comes back around to the zombies at the end. Yeah, this one was pretty fun to do. I kind of just like started drawing here, and then like slowly started tilting the page until it was all the way around. This is sort of cheat perspective a little bit. Yeah, this was one of the first ones for shading with the fountain pen, and all I did was just get another fountain pen with a brush. These are all done with a brush fountain pen, and then I got one that was like 20% of ink in it, and then I filled the rest with water, which is how I got the gray tones. Sort of hard to see on camera, but then the black is all just full black. I stopped using the fountain pens because to get black, I would have to layer multiple times to get like a very dark color. But yeah, these are pretty cool. It's been so long since I looked at these. I guess the ink is very reflective too. Now that doing a recording of it. Yeah, this whole sketchbook, I don't think I was putting out like any videos. Cause I was pretty burnt out of doing like TikTok and YouTube and all of those videos. So yeah, I don't think I've ever done videos on these. But yeah, this is another page full of characters. There's some like turnips, I think they're called, like turnip made into like a person. And there's like a house character over here. I really liked doing full black armor and sort of like put in as much black on the characters. And then when I went to shade, it just turned out a lot better. And then the white on the faces would stand out a lot more. There's a guy working out down here, I remember. And I didn't really do much for backgrounds, but had more so of like the characters as the backgrounds. So everyone is like standing on each other's heads, which is pretty fun to do in like a perspective scene. I'm just having only the characters. Because I really didn't like drawing backgrounds at all at this time. More characters. I was trying to see how dark I could go with the shading on this character with still having the black. Try to make the white stand out as much as possible. That was kind of one of the problems I had with using another brush as the water one, was like it is very hard to get the same gray over and over, and I have to refill these like cartridges pretty often. Yeah, this one I was pretty happy with, like rendering with just fountain pen brushes. It reminds me of like almost digital art. I just went like as dark as I could, just layering, layering over and over, sort of like watercolor. This was like a comic scene that I was just doing on the fly, like sort of coming up with a story. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Alright, yeah, so this is like a comic scene. And it's sort of pretty chaotic. But I didn't really know what to do for the comic at first. And then it was just like, there's like some giants battling back here and like a mech. And then this is the main character. I sort of like decided the main characters. I just drew the scene first. And then I had to come up with a story like on the spot of it. And then he's entering like a movie theater to get away from all the chaos. And he runs in through, and then there's like a bunch of things chasing him, and then at the end he's fighting zombies that are infesting the movie theater. And I was gonna have him like go through this door and escape, and then maybe like backup came on a helicopter. Yeah, this is like the next scene. He's like jumping over a table and is going through the door. Man, and then I decided to just draw something that's totally unrelated. There's like an alien in space. It's all random. helmet doodle, and then there's like a space mech suit. So yeah, it was pretty fun to come up with like a comic on the go though. I didn't have a script or any idea. It was just all made up as I was drawing. Some random pen doodles with some characters. Just kind of messing around with shadows. Just like some drawing, like thinking of like a mine, and some mining equipment, and then sort of like an elf, like animal character. This was with like those. I can't remember what company, but the 3-color pens, and I was just messing around with like if I could use them for shading, but it took so long to render this, and my hand hurt just from the amount of pressure you would need to sort of render that out. I mean, just like more thumbnails and just like mines. This was like I took the ink out of a Pentel brush and then turned it into like a dip ink for brush, and I was trying to use it since I liked that it smudged, and you could get some cool effects with water added, so it looked pretty cool. And then sort of, yeah, I'll just zoom in so it doesn't lose quality. Yeah, this was another like a scene I was doing, sort of like comic, and then yeah, kind of like pretty quick and just trying to get values down. And then this was more of the comic stuff. Is a random a random pen doodle. I think I used watercolor on this, but I'm not too sure. This is just more doodles, and then this was with Crayola marker, so I was trying to sort of going back to Crayola marker scene because I like the blue that it creates with water, and went back to there. And then this is just I was like trying to do like comic things with just pen and line only, and then focusing on like making my lines better, because at this point I was like pretty good at shading, but I feel like my lines were pretty lacking, and it's pretty hard to tell sort of like where my mistakes were. So yeah, more spacesuits, robots, an old man with a suit. It was like a ninja sort of thing. I think my sister was playing like Zelda or something, so I decided to draw this. And then some pirate animals and another spacesuit. Those were just from layer in ink. And then this is Crayola marker. Just like sort of nonsense. Just random characters, and they are printing and drawing smiley faces everywhere. I think they were supposed to be like, yeah, some like factory that just prints smiley faces everywhere. And then this is sort of just abstract, like trying to come up with shapes. And I sort of like explain this in some other video. I might go back to practicing this again. It sort of like helps with different things. This is more, it's called like automatic drawing, and it's just like drawing without thinking, sort of. It's a pretty good warm up for drawing. I don't really do this anymore, but at the time it was pretty beneficial, especially for like learning the feel of like perspective. I think this helped a lot. Yeah, I was kind of making those into like sort of an animal, and like how could I turn this into a tree, and sort of adding it to different other things. More pages of abstract shapes. These took a long time. Well, not really that long, but I remember just to like cover the area, it took a long while. And this is a scene I never finished, but it's Crayola marker. And it was gonna be like this epic battle scene with some spot color and yellow in it. But yeah, I just never got around to finishing it. I was pretty scared of like I almost was too scared to finish this at the time because it would be pretty hard. Some more just straight pen. I was trying to like render with just like small lines and get as much detail as possible. And then I took the rendering further on this page. It's like almost like stippling. Yeah, here's a close up of it. Just a bunch of characters. I sort of try to figure out how I could do a more realistic style. This was doing ballpoint pen and then taking like a Pentel Brush Pen over it. And seeing if I could, because at this time I was debating whether I want to do straight ink or if it'd be better if I sketched it out with a pen or had some like hybrid sort of thing going on. But in the end, I just draw with the straight ink. Well, it's straight ink anyways, but I just use the brush since it's a lot easier mentally. This one's like a blurred sort of drawing render. This is like a ape, sort of like Bigfoot looking monster. Some random characters. I really like drawing zombies since they feel like a good anatomy practice. And sort of I can experiment with anatomy through drawing zombies. And just some random characters. I don't really use the Pentel color brush much because it seems to like the bristles become dry and then the cartridge, when you squeeze the ink into the cartridge, sometimes it overloads and like it'll just glob ink everywhere. So this is why there's like spots throughout the drawing because I had to like basically like get rid of all the excess ink. And I didn't have like a scratch piece of paper next to me, so more drawing and then I have like writing throughout. Just like random things. More characters. I remember I was pretty burnt out at this point. Drawing some of these characters is like literally just with not too much thinking. There's like a little scene down here. See if I can get it on camera. Yeah, there's a little scene down here of like they're like apples, and they're trying to save this human, and they're just apples, so they don't really know what to do. There's like a rat going into a tunnel. Yeah, that one was pretty fun to do. And then I got back more into the ink. I was trying to like get a system down with ink and with the fountain pens. It was kind of like the best system I had for creating drawings at the time. And I still, this is probably like still what I'm doing now with brush pen is the drawing and then shading over. Yeah, some more characters. Try to zoom in here so my camera goes in focus. But yeah, just a bunch of random ideas. I basically just like drew whatever, like absolutely whatever I thought of at the moment. Pretty fun. I should do more things like this. More characters. I'll sort of pan through here so it's easier to see. Yeah, this time I was like drawing all day. I probably would do about 2 of these pages a day, I think. Which was probably too much drawing, but yeah, like it'd be pretty much 2 of these pages a day. Like I'd do this one in the morning and then probably this one later in the day. But they would take like all day to do 2 of them since some of them have a lot of detail in them. Yeah, just a bunch of fun characters. This is like a taco, a hard shell taco man is his face. He's got an apple on his head. I really liked drawing like businessmen or people in suits, like an Oni mask. My gun was like crooked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of drawings like this through the end of here. Just pan through here. The elephant right here. They're stepping on top of rabbits. I needed like some sort of floor idea for them to be stepping on, so I just put people or things underneath them. It's pretty funny. Like like here, in this like a cyclops rabbit is on top of the other one. Just to sort of make like a convincing floor. It's pretty hard to get my camera to focus. I kind of like this one. All the characters sort of interconnecting on there. Yeah, these characters were also like very small and took a lot of patience. The brush was like a medium-sized brush too, so it's pretty hard to get these fine lines. Yeah, another reason I stopped using the brush pen, the fountain brush pen too, is because once I'd use the brush a lot, it would start to get dull, and it was really hard to get fine lines again. So I kind of just decided to stop using it. This is the banana, a banana with a suit. Remember, I was trying like a lot of goofy poses. Here's another page. More Oni stuff. It was like, I think I was watching like a Mongol show at that time. Just kind of drawing like a Mongol sort of thing. A spy agent. Dragons. More goofy characters. Zoom out so you guys can see the full page. I remember I did this is like, I don't know if you've ever seen like old drawings of like what dragons people used to think dragons looked like, or like what they would look like. They were sort of like very like windy like this, and those drawings are kind of interesting. Kind of like it's expanding its mouth. A mouse with a mustache. Pig with tattoos. I remember I was really experimenting with like tattoo designs. This dude's like a zombie playing a game and he's got a VR helmet on. Like a futuristic police officer. You know, like goats with a lizard over there. More dragons. Yeah, oftentimes what I did in the previous drawing would pan over to the next drawing too. Sort of like, especially if I did it in the same day or the next day, the ideas would sort of go on to the next page. Just because like the interest was still there. This guy's kind of cool. He has like 7 heads all put into one body. This is like another panel thing, but they're not very connected. It was just mostly like a bunch of different ideas. Like a weird fish thing here. There's like some building back here too. Sort of hard to see. Just kind of rough drawing. It's like some war thing I was doing here. There's like a temple behind him, guy with a sword here, and then some knights. I don't know what they were fighting. Some like lizard giants and stuff like that. And this was sort of like some Death Star sort of thing, and guys in suits, like businessmen running it. And then this is just a random scene. Pretty hard to see with how much detail I added in. It got kind of out of hand. Oh, this was one of the first ballpoint. The same ballpoint 3-color pen. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, I was trying to render with like sketching it out with a light color and then just going darker and darker. It was kind of fun to do. But this took like I think like 2 days, like a long time. And I went back to it, but like yeah, this was kind of like just the start of this, but there's so many layers on this to get that darkness. And then yeah, this was like the first layer what it would have been. And then you can kind of see like I added green as the second layer and just kept going on that. Yeah, but then I had to stop that because it was hurting my wrist too much. This must be, oh, I still got more. I guess I didn't fill this page out, apparently. Yeah. Just more ink drawing. More of the same sort of technique that I was using before. And these were just black and whites. So this is like how all the drawings that I did shading with the fountain pen ink. That's how they would look before I added the shade to them. This was trying to do like a left shadow on them. More black and white drawings that I never went back to shade. I used to like fill like multiple pages before I'd go back and add the shadow to them. Just because I was drawing so much at the time. More pen and ink drawing. This was with a fine liner, I think. Or maybe it was a brush pen. I think it was a fine line brush pen with like a really tiny narrow nib. And yeah, it's supposed to be like a bar. And then a bunch of characters just sort of. This is with the red Ott's Blood ink again. More ink. Brush drawings. I remember I was sitting, waiting in a parking lot, drawing this. with one of the micron pens. I was trying to figure out how to get shading with it. I just ended up smudging ink and some hatching. Zombie. It was one of the first cars that I drew. It's kind of funny. Oh yeah, I was pretty proud of these. This was like a mini story, sort of. I'll zoom in for this. Sort of a mini story. I remember I posted this one, so at this time I started posting again after I was like burnt out and I was just drawing on my own. Yeah, it's like a story. He's going through town. I should start doing houses like this. That's pretty good. Yeah, he's going through town and I think he's like late for work or something. Can't quite remember. And then yeah, he works at like this sort of like a high-end fancy place. I think he's the guy playing piano. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the one playing piano. And there's like a bunch of wine and there's like a restaurant cook back here. Yeah, and he spilled his drink. There's like napkins everywhere. I really like the red with the using it as wine. I think that was pretty cool. And then I used it to color her dress, and they're all like birds. And then and then I thought it'd be funny if he just like randomly skipped to like somehow he ended up in space. But anyways, the spacecraft like sort of like blew up and so yeah, it didn't end too well for him, but he also spilled his drink again on himself. Just kind of like a little random story. But I was pretty happy with sort of how the perspective turns into the story and morphs around. More ink drawings with the brush and fountain pen. I was thinking of like sort of like a Star Wars like village sort of thing with a bunch of futuristic technology. It was like some sort of power plant. This is all just like random like dog things. Man, yeah, he's coming out of he's like working at this power plant. This was like a perspective drawing with I can't remember if it's a pen. It was either a pen or a Crayola marker. I'm thinking it was like a brown or orange Crayola marker though. Just sort of an office job thing. I'll zoom out because it was across 2 pages. So yeah, these both sort of went together. And I tried to do it in the same perspective, but there's a little bit of a warp to it. It like splits here and then goes off. That was like a samurai, but like looking upward at him. So his feet are sort of on the floor. And zombies, and they're on a big bridge. Up here, there's like a there's a guy with like a paraglider, I think it's called. More zombies with samurai armor. And then if you tilt, there's sort of another mini story happening over here with like a city and these robots with like these eyes that come out attached by a wire. I think this is the second to last page. Quickly go through here. More characters. There's a leopard. There's a like elf with a he's sort of like an elf squid. And then some more. There's like a lynx cat. Oh yeah, and then the last page is, this was with the Pentel Brush Pen, the color brush. Yeah, I was just trying to like do a very dark sort of like Frankenstein thing with using as much black as I possibly could. He was like a mad scientist. So yeah, that's the end of the sketchbook. I got one more. I got one more to show, and then I'll also be showing a bunch of the normal paper that I've been drawing on in the last 2 years. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one.